Wendy. Welcome back to Show Me Mo Vegan and another recipe video. In this one, I'm showing you how to make a really easy sheet pan meal. It's full of veggies and beans and is very delicious. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Let's jump right in. You're going to want a very large bowl to mix everything together, and I'm going to start with my potatoes. I'm using this one that has peppers and onions in it as well. The main thing is you just want to make sure there's no other additives. A lot of times hash brown potatoes will include sugar and salt and maybe even oil. This one is just potatoes, onions, and green and red bell peppers. If you wanted to, you could just use shredded potatoes as well, and if you wanted to shred them yourself, go for it. Using the frozen is a lot quicker. Then I've already chopped up my veggies. I sliced up an onion and then I cut up some broccoli. You can cut this in whatever shape and size you like. And I'm just using the florets, but be sure to keep the stalks. Those are really great to make veggie broth. You can eat them as well. They have tons of fiber and are really nutritious, but sometimes people don't like them just because they're a little tough to eat. So if you're not going to be eating them, definitely save them to make broth. Then I'm also chopping up some purple cabbage, which I think is delicious roasted. So we're going to dump all our veggies in. Here are the onions and broccoli. And then our purple cabbage, or red cabbage, however you like to call it. And I will include a link in the description below with all of the amounts that I used, but the amounts really do not matter. You could use more or less potatoes, you could use more veggies, whatever you like. Then I've also got some cannellini beans. I'm using these low sodium cannellini beans, which I've drained and rinsed. Then we're gonna season this up with 1 to 2 tablespoons of onion powder. And you can change this up to depending on how many veggies you throw in and how many potatoes you use. Then I'm also going to do the same amount of garlic powder. Next, I'm using Bragg liquid aminos, which is very similar to a soy sauce, and you could totally use soy sauce or tamari for this. Keep in mind, those are very high in sodium. So if you are watching your sodium, you might want to omit this altogether. Technically, the liquid aminos do not have sodium added. If you look at the ingredients, it's just vegetable protein from soybeans and water. But it does naturally still have quite a bit of sodium in it. If you haven't watched it already, I recommend checking out my video on how to maintain a balanced whole food vegan diet. In that video, I talk about how about 85 to 90% of what I eat is whole unprocessed foods. And that leaves about 10 to 15% so that you can add things like these more processed condiments, things like pastas, other slightly more processed foods to make it a little more enjoyable and easier to maintain. Keep in mind, I'm only using a small amount for this entire dish, so you're not getting too much in the individual portions. If you did want to leave it out altogether, I would recommend using something like a concentrated balsamic vinegar. Then you might add a teaspoon or more of your favorite no salt seasoning. It just won't be as salty. But if you're used to living an SOS-free lifestyle, you won't notice. But today I'm using the liquid aminos. I'm gonna do about 1.5 teaspoons, just a little bit. And then I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of rice vinegar. If you were doing the balsamic vinegar instead of the liquid aminos, you might leave out the rice vinegar since you'll already be getting that vinegar flavor. Next, I'm just gonna mix it all up. You could mix this up on the sheet pan, but I find it easier just to use a bowl. Yes, it's an extra dish to wash, but when you're eating oil-free, dishes are so much easier anyway, so it's not really that difficult. Once we have everything mixed up, we'll dump this onto a sheet pan. I'm using parchment paper today. If you wanted to use a silicone mat, that would be fine too. So for this amount, I'm using 2 sheet pans, and then you're just going to spread everything out evenly. And when I'm making something like this, I usually make it a little thicker on the edges because that part will cook faster in the oven, and then make it a little thinner layer in the center, just because that will take longer to cook. So everything will be a little more even that way. And then you might adjust the temperature depending on your own oven, but you're going to put these in for 20 minutes, anywhere from 400 to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. After 20 minutes, we'll take them out, shuffle everything around a little bit, and then put them in for another 20 minutes or so until they get nice and browned, however you like. All right, so that is my veggie sheet pan hash. And you can eat this just like this, or if you want, you might add a little bit of ketchup. I like to get an unsweetened ketchup. You could use any other kind of topping that you like as well. And this is a complete meal by itself. I like to include vegetables, whole grains, and beans with every meal. So this one already has the beans and vegetables, and I would like to have a whole grain with it. So you could eat this on a bed of whole grains, maybe some wheat berries or rice or barley, anything you like. But today I'm actually just having it with a little bit of Ezekiel toast. I hope you all will give this a try. Let me know in the comments how it goes if you do, and be sure to like this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.